You guys are gonna freak out. Look what I just did for you. I just found 10 amazing, boring cash flowing businesses, right? Companies that are generating hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash flow. And then I put them in this really dope list, ranking the cash flow from lowest to highest. And then I went and found actual listings to where if you wanted to, after this video, you can go contact the brokers and buy these businesses today, literally. And then the cool thing is I give you guys my thesis of why I like these. And FYI, I'm Kenny Finance. I spent 10 years working at the best private equity firms in the entire world. I'm talking Blackstone, KKR. We're all day, every day. We buy million-dollar, billion-dollar businesses. We find them, we buy them, we fix them, we grow them, we sell them, rinse, and repeat. So I take everything that I learned from Wall Street and I give it to Main Street, to you, to show you guys how to own and buy a business. All right, let's start right now. No time to waste. All right, so number one, elevator repair. Look, you're in these buildings, whether you're in a school, whether you're in a hospital, whether you're in a mall or your apartment building or office building, you're going up and down something. And quite frankly, we're all lazy. We don't like to take stairs. So some genius inventor created elevators and escalators for us. And the crazy thing is these things are running all the time, and this requires regular maintenance and repairs. And what do you need? You need a specialized technician or an elevator repair business to come fix these elevators. And that's an amazing business. All right, so let me open my laptop and let's try to find one. Boom. We are in South Carolina, people, all right? So in Lexington, South Carolina, there's a 76-year-old elevator company selling for $600,000, doing a $1.7 million in revenue, about $116,000 in cash flow. I like that. All right, now that's a 7% margin, which is pretty low, and the asking multiple is around 5 times. That's pretty high, so it's not like my favorite deal of all time, but the cash flow is nice, and they've been around for 76 years, proving they have brand and customer loyalty. Those are really good things. I'm telling you, these boring businesses are lasting cash flowing businesses. So imagine collecting $100,000 for 76 years. Yeah, that's cash. But the key thing here, which kind of gives me a little bit of hesitancy, is the multiple. And a multiple in the private equity and business buying world, people like to buy a business as a multiple of the cash flow. So if this is generating about $100,000 of cash flow, usually at this size and this kind of industry, you're paying a 3 to 4 times multiple, not 5. So if I were to buy this business, I would do my diligence, do my homework, make sure I really like it, but then submit an offer of around $300,000 to $400,000 to acquire this company. You won't be seeing me paying $600,000 for this. There's way better deals further down on our list. Let's keep it going. Number 2, auto collision. Now look, I'm not a good driver, you're not a good driver. I rear-ended you, you bumped my bumper. Plain and simple. But the key thing is, it's gotta get fixed. Both of our cars. So what do? As smart money buyers, we try to acquire auto collision shops all across America. So this is what we're looking for. We are going to Detroit, Michigan, and there's a multi-unit auto collision and paint franchise. This is cool because it's multiple shops and 2 streams of revenue, repair and painting. And this business is generating $4.5 million of revenue and $800,000 of cash flow. Now, I like that because with that amount of cash flow, you can easily start to tuck in, acquire more collision shops or paint shops to expand your regional presence, your branding, your pricing, etc. That's a really good thesis. And it's only selling for $2.4 million. And that's an 18% margin, which is really attractive in this space. And the multiple is only 3 times. You see, that deal's getting better. And regardless if folks are driving a gas-powered car or an electric vehicle, they need to get their cars repaired or collision repaired or painted, whatever it may be. So this business is going to always have demand, and it's in the Motor City, so this seems like a pretty damn good deal to me. But I think we can find better ones. All right, moving on to number 3, electricians. Now, I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to electrical work. Best thing I can do is unscrew the electrical socket. I'm not touching anything else after that. I am calling a professional, and odds are that professional is telling me, hey, I can come out there and fix it, but it's gonna take 4 weeks to 2 months. You wanna know why? Because there are so few electrical workers and electricians in the field. Like, this skill is in such high demand because businesses need this, homes need this, hospitals need this, everyone needs this, but there are so few folks that have that trade. So the best thing we can do is acquire an electrician business and build and train more electricians or acquire other ones so we can have ourselves a good regional platform of electrical contracting work. And guess what I found? We went down to Florida, baby, and we found ourselves an electrical contractor business selling for $2.2 million. And this one does about $2.5 million revenue and about $700,000 of cash flow. Look at that math again. That is a 28% margin business, selling at a 3.1 times multiple. That auto collision business we looked at just 5 seconds ago was selling for 3 times multiple. This one is around the same multiple, but with better margins. I want to buy this one like literally right now. So I may pause this video, go hit up the broker and be like, look, I got cash today. Let's buy this business. But I think we can find some cool businesses. All right, moving on to the next one. Land surveying mapping, number 4. This one might be a little tricky and folks might not be as familiar with what this is, but you ever seen like those really tall tripods that have like that really big device on it? Those are land surveying and mapping pieces of equipment. They're either doing geospatial mapping or just traditional land mapping and pictures to see what's on a land. And what's cool is there are land surveyors and mappers that go out and sort of draw the boundaries of different pieces of property. So when a property is sold or when a property is being built or there's construction or anything, you need to guarantee that what you're building is exactly on the parameters and the boundaries of what you have. The worst case scenario is you tried to build something and you don't know what's underground or you don't know what the end of your boundary is for your property, and then boom, you get sued, all types of stuff. All right, so you need land surveying and mapping companies to come and draw and outline the land boundaries as well as identify what is below the surface before you even start digging. Like, look, I'd rather play Call of Duty Warzone all day, every day, but I'm a cash flow making machine, so I like these kind of businesses. And I found one in good old California. This one is in Orange County, shout out to the OC, and this is a profitable 28-year land surveying firm. I love that because they have a long track record and they've been around good customer and brand loyalty. This one is a little pricey, so we may need to bring outside investors. This one's selling for $5.3 million, but revenue-wise, they're about $4.4 million of revenue and doing $1.3 of cash flow. And that's a 30% margin. That's pretty solid, and a 4 times multiple. Now, that's a lot of dollars going out, and it's a really expensive multiple, but it's a big business, and they probably have a really good platform, and we can do some M&A as well. I like that. That's a required piece of work for developers, for municipalities. Like, this thing is not going absolutely anywhere, and there are cool tech implementations of AI and geospatial tech and aerial mapping to make this business model more modern and improve our cash flow. So that's a pretty cool one, but like I said, at $5.5 million, I don't have that in my wallet right now, so I'm gonna have to bring in some outside investors. And the good thing is, I got my Codie Finance community. So if you guys are subs, shoot me a DM on LinkedIn and help me buy this business, and we can cut you in some equity in this deal. I'm kind of serious, I'm kind of not, so actually hit me up. All right, moving on to number 5, moving companies. If there's one thing about Codie Finance that he doesn't like about living coast to coast, it's moving, all right? I used to move apartments all the time, every single year when I was in college, when I was in Brooklyn, and look, it just sucks. You're not gonna see me picking up this couch, which is like right here. Or you're not gonna see me like hanging a TV anymore, right? You're gonna see me hiring an amazing crew of amazing guys and girls that are come and move my stuff for me or put my stuff into storage. And these things are great, low CapEx, low operating costs. All you need is 2 people in a truck, pretty much. And I found one in Washington County, Michigan. And this one is selling for around $1.2 million and doing about $2 million of revenue. Who would have known that moving companies, even small ones, are doing $2 million of revenue a year? That's kind of crazy. Now, cash flow-wise, they're doing about $630,000 of cash flow. That's healthy. So with this at a 30% margin and a 1.9 times cash flow multiple, that's kind of interesting. It's worth looking into, especially given the low purchase price. And if we just have, say we bought one of the other businesses, like the collision business that had $800,000 cash flow. We waited 2 years to where we had $1.6 million in cash flow. We used some of that cash flow to then buy this moving company, and our moving company is doing $600,000 of cash flow. Now we're building a holding company, baby. And now you're starting to move like me, Kenny, where I run Dreamline Holdings, which is a beautiful holding company to where we look to find and buy amazing cash flowing businesses like this all day, every day. I'm kind of like creating competitors on putting this video on YouTube, but I love you guys and I want to see you all make smart money moves because we are in the silver tsunami where the largest sums of business owners are baby boomers and they're retiring and they have no one to take over the businesses. So me and you, we go out there and we acquire these companies strategically, we run them, we grow them, and we are the new stewards of their legacy. So that's what I do at Dreamline, baby. We're building holding companies, building a bunch of portfolio of cash flowing businesses, and taking the stuff we learned on Wall Street and providing it to Main Street. All right, let's keep going. All right, moving on to the next one. Plumbing. So this is a really cool exercise. I want you guys to pull out your phone and I want you to go on ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, hey, can you fix my leaky sink? Nothing, right? You need a plumber, okay? You need a plumber to fix your sinks, to fix your pipes, all that jazz. You don't want to do it yourself. There are very few folks that can do this, so it's an extremely high demand, just like the electrician's trade. So these things have significant backlogs and wait times. And the good thing is, when there are long wait times, you can raise your prices. So if you're an owner of a plumbing business, this is an amazing time for you. Amazing. And what's even better is I found one that has crazy 40% margins. Check this out. This one is in Indiana, and it's a thriving commercial plumbing. So this is cool because you can either do plumbing for homes or businesses. Now, the good thing is if you're doing commercial ones for businesses, these are typically bigger, larger ticket sales, which can give you better revenue predictability and such as overall better revenue model. And this one here is selling for $3.5 million, doing about 1.8 of revenue a year and 700,000 of cash flow. 1.8 mil, 700 of cash flow. Those 40% margins, baby. That's nice. But the thing is, the world kind of found out that this one and like the HVAC ones I'm gonna talk about later are super hot, attractive businesses, given the cash flow characteristics. So this one has a competitive price because once more people want to buy a business, they bid up the prices and the prices get a little bit out of hand. So this one's selling for 5 times multiple right now. I would pounce on it if it's a 3 times multiple or maybe a 4 times multiple, but at 5 times, that's kind of expensive. So we're gonna keep it moving, but that's a really good business. Next one, HVAC. Just like you don't want to fix your own pipes, you also don't want to fix your own heating and air conditioning systems. I guarantee it. And the last thing you want to do is mess up your air conditioning during the summer. No bueno, my friend. Not good. And this one is also in extremely high demand. And I found a really cool business that's a local one in Oregon. This is an HVAC business, Hillsboro, Oregon's #1 HVAC business, apparently. Their marketing for this is super crazy. But it's for like a smaller deal if you want to do like a smaller one that has a little bit of cash flow. This one is selling for $1.5 million, and it has around $658,000 revenue and $275 of cash flow. Off the bat, that multiple is kind of nuts, but the cash flow is really nice. The cash flow is around 42% margins for an HVAC business. Like I'm telling you, plumbing and HVAC and these trades, those are cash printing machines. But the issue is, they're so competitive. This one is selling at a 5.5 times multiple. Off of principle, we're not going to buy this business because it's just way too expensive. Not price-wise, but multiple-wise. Back in the day, like 10 years ago, these things used to sell for 3 times. Now, all these Harvard MBAs coming out trying to buy businesses, and it's selling for like 5.5 times. It just doesn't make sense at that level. So we keep it pushing. We pushing P, baby. Moving on to the next one. And before I dive into this, I've given you guys almost $7 to $8 million worth of free game. And if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you do yourself a really big favor and subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me as well as the rest of the community. You are investing in yourself to make smart money moves. So I appreciate you guys. All right, moving on to commercial cleaning. Just like the name of the game back in the day was to buy janitorial businesses that served homes, the thesis still stands, but to do it for commercial buildings, all right? Office buildings, construction sites, all types of things to where things just need to get cleaned that are in bigger, larger, higher ticket projects. And that's why I like commercial cleaning. Because quite frankly, the residential cleaning space is extremely competitive. There's so many apps on folks trying to do quick 20, 30 minute, 1 hour cleanings for homes and homeowners. But what's not as competitive are folks that can break into and get good contracts with governments, with businesses, with schools, with hospitals, folks that can do the big, dirty commercial cleaning jobs. And we found one that is a little bit cheaper in Florida. We're back to Florida, baby. Florida's got some good deals. This is in Polk County. So this commercial cleaning business is around 1.6 million asking price. It's generating around 1.1 million in revenue and almost 500,000 in cash flow. This seems too good to be true because I really like it. Let's check this out. All right, so the margins are 44%. Oh, 44% margins. You just can't find these things, guys. And I'm talking like, if you look at the average stock market margins, that's around 15, 20%. These are double that. All right. And this business is only selling for 3.3 times multiple. That's pretty solid. So let me pause right here. Let me go call this broker and let me truck up a deal. Let me buy this business, generate this cash flow. And then I'll come back to you and I'll give you the last 2, okay? But that just shows the power of these amazing, boring cash flowing businesses. I love this stuff. All right. Number 8, vet clinics. Now look, we all love dogs. And me personally, I have my soulmate. His name is Buddy Finance. Voila. I love him with my whole heart. But sometimes Buddy eats socks. Buddy eats grass. Buddy eats toys. Buddy eats AirPods. And what happens when Buddy eats AirPods? We got to take him to the vet clinic. Do I call it the vet? No. I say we're going for a walk, but we end up dropping his little butt off at the vet, and that's expensive. But the good thing is, demand for dogs is through the roof. Everyone and their mama is buying a pet right now. And the crazy thing is, we just don't have enough vets to serve all of them if they all get sick at the same time. So there's demand for vet clinics to provide shots, checkups, and emergency visits for a lot of these pets. So let's try to find one. If I can buy myself a vet that's like close to home and I don't have to like spend out of pocket a lot of stuff for Buddy, that has saved me so much money. But we are in Miami, baby. All right, back to Florida. Florida's just popping right now, by the way. This vet clinic is selling for $650,000, generating almost $1 million of revenue and 450 grand of cash flow. It's too good to be true because that's almost a 50% margin and a 1.4 times multiple. Really attractive, but I think something might be wrong with this one, or there might be specific licensing requirements. So do your homework and do your research on this, and never just take a listing and then buy. Take a listing, hire a team to go do the homework and do the diligence to see if it's a really good deal. Make sure you're having customer calls, expert calls, do the homework, spend months studying this business and this industry before you ever buy a business. And I'll give you guys free game or do live streams maybe if you're interested in that on like how to actually diligence and buy a business. Let me know in the comments if I should. But off the bat, it's a pretty low multiple. Just talk with the banker to see why is it selling for so low. But that's a really healthy margin. And I really like that. And we can easily buy that clinic, roll it up into other clinics, and build ourselves a regional Miami vet clinic there. And what's really cool also is the trends in Miami is a lot of young workers and families are moving to Miami, given the tax status as well as the growing economies and businesses and sectors there. And a lot of them are starting to acquire and purchase dogs because they're trying to build their little families out there. And the good thing is, when the economy and people are moving there and there's not a lot of clinics, you can start to build yourself a very early brand in a particular niche, like vet clinics. So this is a really good thesis, macro-wise, for vet clinics in Miami. All right, so when I was driving to go pick up Buddy Finance, I got a chip in my window on a highway here in California. Now that pissed me off, but the key thing is I thought about it. I was like, look, that's a hazard. I have to fix that because chips grow in windows. And if I don't get this fixed tomorrow, I could lose my windshield. So I take it to an auto glass repair shop. And next thing you know, I kind of asked the owner, hey, are you for sale? He said no, so then I went home and I tried to find a different one, and look what I found. I found in Hamilton, Ontario. We're in Canada, baby. The happiest people in the entire world. I love you, Canadians. All right, so we're in Canada, and this business is selling for $900,000, generating around $600,000 of revenue and $300,000 of cash flow. We're in the 50s, baby. I am talking 50% plus cash flow margins. W's in the chat for the 50% plus cash flow businesses. So dope. I love these. Okay, 57% margin, and it's selling for 2.7 times multiple. That's solid. This is the business I'm going to buy right now. I emailed the broker. I'm going to put in an offer. I have the financing already lined up with SBA and seller note. I'm going to try my best to buy this business and hold me accountable. All right, reach out to me and let's have a conversation like 6 months from now to see if I actually close this investment. But I want this one so bad. Sub 3 times multiple, essential service. People just need to get their car windows fixed, and at almost a 60% cash flow margin. I could build a platform in like 10 days with these kind of businesses. All right, this is just amazing, and it's a low purchase price. This is just rock solid. Even if I have to go fix the glass myself, I would do it for 60% margin. And then here's the kicker. You buy this business, you hold it for about 3 or 4 years, then you have $1 million of cumulative cash flow. You use that to buy yourself an auto repair or auto painting business. And next thing you know, you become like a one-stop shop in this nice suburban Canadian neighborhood for auto repair, auto collision, painting, and window chips and window repair. So then you can start offering bundled services, you start raising your prices, and you just become a flagship legacy name that's serving your customers. Ladies and gentlemen, it all starts with one key thing: by taking the risk to acquire a business. Because look, buying a business is an amazing thing to do. It's cash flow generative on day one. You mitigate the startup risk. And look, it's fun. You get to own a company, be a CEO on day one. Now, are these sexy, high-tech AI companies? No. And those things burn and go bankrupt all the time. But these things are recession resilient. These things are around for years, and they're serving your local community. So why not help support your local entrepreneurs, your local customers, your local communities by building yourself an incredible portfolio of cash flow businesses? All right, so these are the companies that we want to buy. Now, how do we finance it? The key thing is rule number one, just like buying a house, you don't want to buy a business with 100% equity. You want to get a mortgage to buy a business. Now, what is that? That's SBA financing or seller note. And I want to show you guys exactly how anyone, with regardless of how much money you have, can go buy a business with actually like zero money down if you wanted to. I'm not recommending zero, but if you wanted to, you can put zero money down. So check out this next video where I outline, even for beginners, anyone can go out and acquire a business today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace! And do not go buy that auto glass repair business. I already got tips on that. All right, love you. Peace.